UFC Fight Night Kansas City just happened, and here are my thoughts on the main card. Starting with Ikram Alaskera versus Andre Muniz. I predicted this to happen. I thought Ikram Alaskera was going to knock him out in the first or second round, and he did. It was a pretty, boring fight up until the knockout, but like, how good is Robert Whittaker, man? I think Ikram Alaskarov, he said on the mic after his fight, he said he wants a ranked opponent. I don't see that happening at all. I think you should put him against a good grappler, just outside the top 15. I think that's what you should do. But yeah, a great performance by Alaskarov. I don't really see him beating anyone in the top 15 at the moment. But who knows? He dropped Muniz with the left hook, but it was like one of the weakest left hooks he threw in that fight. It was a weird shot to get dropped by, but good performance by him. Yeah. Now moving on to what could be the knockout of the year so far, Randy Brown versus Nicholas Dalby. Nicholas Dalby losing his first fight by knockout, which was crazy. It was just a literal carbon copy of the Holloway versus Gaethje knockout from last year at UFC 300. It was an amazing fight. This brought the card alive. I was super hyped to watch this. And how good is Jack Della Maddalena, man? Jack Della Maddalena, JDM, busted this guy in round 1 and then submitted him in round 1. And then Randy Brown is performing like this now. It's unbelievable performance by Randy Brown. One of the greatest knockouts I've ever seen live, probably. An amazing performance. Round 1, Randy Brown was hurting Nicholas Dalby, but Nicholas Dalby was fighting back. I don't know if they counted it as a knockdown. They did. Okay, so, yeah, I don't know if it was a slip or not, but I guess it was a knockdown from Nicholas Dalby at the end of round 1 against Randy Brown. Yeah, it was a good knockdown, but Randy Brown was winning that fight in the first round. I would have given him round 1 if he didn't knock him out in the second round. But, what a knockout by Randy Brown. That was just unbelievable knockout. Unbelievable. Yeah, I say you give Randy Brown a top 15 opponent now. I think you have to. After that performance. It was an amazing performance. And Dalby just, he that was an amazing fight. He kept pushing forward. He got rocked a few times by Randy Brown, but he kept pushing forward. He kept, throwing back, and I was surprised. In round 1, Randy Brown basically just flattened his nose. He broke his nose bad, just it turned the other way. It was an amazing performance by Randy Brown. But I think when Randy Brown punched him, and then when his nose became, smushed, I think he saw glimpses of JDM in front of him, and then he didn't follow up like he should have. But yeah, if he kept peppering that, that nose, he could have gotten a first round knockout. But I'm glad this happened for Randy Brown. It was an amazing knockout. I was super impressed by this performance. I think Randy Brown deserves a top 15 opponent. And just how good is JDM, man? That's all I got to say. Just how good is JDM? We move on. Michel Pereira versus Abus Magomedov. What a fucking snooze fest. My God, this fight was so boring. Michel Pereira, I'm going to go on a limb here. I say he should be cut from the UFC. I'm sick of this shit, man. How are you doing this, choreography dancing in before the fight when you're in your walkout, and then giving that type of performance, man? It's so fucking stupid. If you're doing that type of walkout and doing that choreography, fucking dancing with your whole team behind you, and then you go out and, knock him out round 1, I'm like, okay, at least you're, putting on performance and knocking him out. But Michel Pereira just fucking gasses out in the first fucking minute of the fight. Literally, after he threw the first punch, he was breathing heavily out of his mouth. So, Michel Pereira is a boring fighter if he doesn't do backflips on his opponent like he usually does. And then when he fights real competition, he just turns into a fucking snooze fest fighter. Yeah, this kind of brought down the excitement of the card. It was going really fast paced. It was really exciting, and this kind of bored it out a little bit. But Abus Magomedov, I thought he won 3 rounds to 0. I think he won all 3 rounds. You could say that Michel Pereira won round 2, but let's see. I mean, he did outstrike him, but I don't know. I think Abus Magomedov had the better strikes. You know what I mean? But yeah, this was a fucking snooze fest. It started turning alive in round 3 a little bit, but like, you know, Michel Pereira is not the type of guy to fight, real contenders. Like, how is Michel Pereira ranked? Like, let's be honest here. How is he ranked? This is like one of the worst outings from a ranked opponent I've ever seen. He has no gas tank, no cardio. His only claim to fame is doing like, crazy backflips on opponents and stuff, which, like, sure, that's cool and all, but like, you're going out here and putting this type of performance, like, you lose all your hype. So, good performance by Abus Magomedov. I'm impressed by it. Michel Pereira should be cut from the UFC. I would cut him right away. Cut him. So sick of this shit. We move on. Giga Chikadze versus David Onama. Yeah, I mean, Giga Chikadze is just fucking stupid, I think. David Onama had a good performance, had 3 takedowns on him, landed the better strikes. I thought David Onama won pretty easily, like 2 rounds to 1. Giga Chikadze just like, I mean, Giga Chikadze in round 3 was, Onama was on Giga's back, and then all he had to do was just like, fall forward, and then Onama falls off his back, and then they could stand up again. But Giga Chikadze does the stupidest fucking thing, and he rolls over and then gives David Onama full mount. And so David Onama is just grounding and pounding him at that point, which is so stupid. I mean, I was rooting for Chikadze because he's an actual exciting fighter, but he's got a chin on him. I respect it. But yeah, Onama won. Just fucking boring, dude. I mean, if you take down your opponent, start like actually doing stuff on the ground instead of laying on him. Like, this is like, I guess it's the way to win in UFC now, but that shouldn't be the way to win. Award good fighters, award exciting fighters, but he had a good performance by David Onama. He's going to enter the rankings, I assume. I would say match him up against like a Dan Ige. Probably like David Onama versus Dan Ige, so I can see Dan Ige just fucking chin him. So yeah, I had Giga Chikadze winning that. It was my underdog pick. I thought he could have won it, but Onama did it. Then we move on to Zhang Minyang versus Anthony Smith, man. Anthony Smith, this is a prime Anthony Smith performance we're seeing right here. This is honestly the funniest fucking fight I've ever seen, just because of how Anthony Smith is so shit. So, Anthony Smith's retirement fight, he walks out, emotional. He gives a hat to a kid while walking out. And the kid didn't even want the hat. The kid didn't want the hat. He goes out, he's hugging his family and whatnot. And, like, he goes in the octagon. I'm like, oh, are we going to see, like, Anthony Smith actually win for once? Are we going to see, Anthony Smith, like, get a win, in the past year? No. Prime Anthony Smith, doing his little... You got to give it to Anthony Smith, he perfected the armadillo. He perfected the armadillo technique, just fucking curling up in the ball while getting fucking pounded by Zhang Minyang. Just like he did against Dominic Reyes in his last fight. Good performance by Zhang Minyang. I had Zhang Minyang by first round knockout also. I did not think Anthony Smith was going to win this fight. But, yeah, amazing performance by Zhang Minyang. I mean, we could have all done this to Anthony Smith, let's be honest here. Anthony Smith, prime Anthony Smith performance, curling up in a ball, doing nothing, Like, it started out on the feet, right? Anthony Smith just high guard, not doing anything. Zhang Minyang, getting punched in, throwing elbows, hitting his guard. He was kind of rocking Anthony Smith, but like not like, to the head. He was hitting his guard. And then when he was hitting his Anthony Smith was getting hit so much with his high guard, that he just goes for a takedown. And then he just like stakes in the sprawl position while Zhang Yang is just fucking ripping to his body. And then he ends up doing his prime Anthony Smith performance. Just an amazing move. Curling up into a ball and then just taking shots over and over again. And then literally after the fight, after Anthony Smith lost, he was like bleeding from his head. He flips off a guy in the crowd. I don't know what the guy was doing in the crowd. He flips off the guy in the crowd, walks over to him, and then starts yelling at him. Like tries to jump over the cage. Like, what are you doing, bro? You just you just lost by ground and pound. You just got fucking humiliated in your retirement fight, and then you're doing this. You're humiliating your family, dude. On paper. And then after that, they give Anthony Smith the biggest retirement package of them all. Dude, Anthony Smith is not even a former champion. His claim to fame is letting the illegal knee versus John Jones, keep the fight going. He could have, been like in that John Jones championship fight. He could have been like when the John Jones flew the illegal knee to his head while he was down. He could have been like, oh, no, I don't want to fight anymore. I deserve the championship now. He could have done that. But, good for him for saying, let's keep fighting. John Jones still took him to decision, by the way. John Jones took this guy to decision. But, yeah, so after the fight, they give Anthony Smith a retirement package. Literally a fucking 50-minute fucking retirement video of his highlights. Bro, what are we doing here? This guy is 38-22. He has 22 losses in the UFC. Why are we giving him a retirement package, but we're not giving a guy like Stipe Miocic, the heavyweight GOAT, a retirement package when he retires last year? This is so stupid. And then literally, like, when he was walking out, Paul Felder on the mic was like, oh, no, like, I'm about to cry right now. I'm about to cry from this, like, Anthony Smith's such a legend in the game, man. This is getting me emotional. Like, bro, what are you talking about, man? And then Bruce Buffer, while announcing, he's never done that. By the way, he didn't do this for Stipe Miocic. He didn't do this for anyone before they retired. Anyone. He goes out there and he says, for the last time ever, the legend, one of the greatest, Anthony Smith. Like, why are they doing this for Anthony Smith, man? They didn't give a fuck about Stipe Miocic when he retired. But they're doing this for Anthony the Lionheart Smith? Get the fuck out of here, bro. Giving him like a 50-minute retirement package with a jelly roll and fucking Glover Teixeira, and then Anthony Smith starts crying, and then everyone starts crying. Like, this dude is not a legend of the sport. He has 22 losses in the UFC. He lost to like everyone. He doesn't have a Lionheart. He curls up in a ball. He takes shots. He doesn't care. He just like wants to get out of the fight. He just loses and loses and loses. I'm glad he's out of the sport, man. But like, man, like, why are we celebrating this guy? He was never a world champion. What did he accomplish in the UFC? The only thing that like you can like remember about him is how he continued that fight versus John Jones. That's it. If John Jones didn't fly that illegal knee, he would have put him out in like the first or second round. It's so stupid, man. But great performance by Zhang Yang. I think he got performance of the night. Yeah, he did. He did get performance of the night. I knew he was going to win this. Anthony Smith is a fucking blob. Yeah. So fucking stupid, man. This retirement video. Laura Sanko on the mic, she was saying, oh, it's not the way you want to go out. The way you want to go out, is get a good win in fashion. It's a good way to go out. But it's not it's a close second to go out with covered in blood. What are you talking about, dude? I'm so sick of these commentators, man. Great performance by Zhang Mingying, though. We move on. Main event. Ian Machado. Guys, no one beat Shavkat like I did. I hurt Shavkat in that fight, you guys. Versus Carlos Prates. This pissed me off, man. I called it. I knew Garry was going to win just because he's just a better fighter, Like, technically, he's a better fighter. Like, when it comes to, like, combinations and striking and, grappling, he's a better fighter. Although, he, like, didn't get... What was his take? He went 4 of 19 of takedowns. He shot 19 takedowns. Carlos Prates defended almost all of them. Let's go this round by round. First round, Garry, was, doing good on the feet, standing up on the feet, was landing, jab, straight, hook, and then high kick at the end of the combination. That's what he was doing, like, every fucking time. And that was wearing Carlos Prates' forearms out, I bet. Because Carlos Prates was blocking those high kicks, but it was with his forearms, but that wears your forearms out. So I think he didn't throw any lefts because his forearms were so tired. He wanted to stick close to his body, get that high guard just in case a head kick comes, because Ian Garry threw, like, quite a few head kicks. A lot of head kicks, actually. He just kept throwing combinations over and over again. He was controlling the range. He was controlling the distance in the first round. Carlos Prates basically threw just, like, a jab or two. Basically didn't throw anything. Let's see this. Round 1. He threw 7 strikes compared to Ian Garry's 15. But Ian Garry was just like, jab, jab, hook, head kick. Jab, jab, hook, head kick. Carlos Prates was doing jab, jab. Maybe a kick to the body. But Ian Garry definitely won that first round. Second round, Ian Garry just fucking, went for, like, he didn't go for any takedowns he went for 2 takedowns. Carlos Prates easily defended him. But same thing again, jab, jab, head kick, jab, jab, head kick from Ian Garry. Didn't really rock Carlos Prates. But then again, Carlos Prates is just doing jab, jab, maybe a body kick, and then a jab again. Like, dude, throw some strikes. He outstruck you, like, 3 times. He throws 3 times more strikes than you did that round. Disappointment from Carlos Prates that round. I mean, like, do some stuff. Like, dude, you're known for being, the cigarette, you smoke cigarettes, you drink whiskey. That's all you do, right? So then you have to fucking, like, you have to start, you have to start teeing off in those first rounds. And then when it gets to the later rounds, that's when it's Ian Garry's time to shine, because, you're gassing because of the cigarettes. But apparently it was switched in this fight. Round 3, Ian Garry again. This was Ian Garry's round for sure, just fucking jab, jab, head kick, jab, jab, head kick. And then he was throwing some good combinations. He threw an uppercut up the guard that kind of rocked Carlos Prates, sent him stumbling back a little bit. It didn't, like, he wasn't, like, totally rocked by it. But yeah, that hurt Carlos Prates. He was, like, stumbling. And then Ian Garry got some takedowns. Didn't do anything with those takedowns because Carlos Prates just gets right up again. But yeah, big round from Ian Garry. Was 3-0 at this time. Round 4, same shit from Ian Garry. But by the end of the round 4, Carlos Prates started throwing it straight. He started throwing jabs, and he was connecting. He cut open Ian Garry's cut on the left side. He broke Ian Garry's nose, I think. Dude, Carlos Prates is one of the stupidest fighters I've ever seen. Start fucking finishing him. You have to, like, you rock him a little bit, and then start fucking teeing off on him. That's what you gotta do. I was getting so pissed off yesterday, like, watching this happen. He didn't get any knockdowns, but, like, I would say that I would have given that round to Carlos Prates. I don't think Ian Garry won that round. I think Carlos Prates did enough by the end of the round to win it. And then we move on to round fucking 5, where Carlos Prates just turns into a fucking moron. He rocked Ian Garry hard. Like, I was watching it, I'm like, dude, Ian Garry's on his back. Carlos Prates is grounding. He was, like, getting good shots on the ground against Ian Garry. Just, like, fucking pounding him on the ground. I was like, dude, if he keeps throwing, this fight might get stopped. He could win by a TKO. But Carlos Prates, he wasn't even throwing anything on the ground. Like, I was saying, just, like, fucking just start pounding him, dude. Just start throwing elbows, start, like, throwing hammer fists and stuff. Carlos Prates didn't do any of that. Instead, with, like, 20 seconds left, he just lets him up. He lets Ian Garry up. Why would you do that, dude? You're about to finish him in a TKO. You could have finished him easily if you just started fucking throwing shit. throw back at the headshots. You shouldn't throw back at the headshots, but apparently it's legal now from the last fight with Zhang Mingyang. He was throwing back at the headshots versus Anthony Smith. No one called him out on it. So then, if he can do it, then Carlos Prates, I'll give you the green light. Do it, dude. 100% win the round. People say it was a 10-8 round. It was not a 10-8 round. Because Ian Garry did throw some stuff. He was fighting back, on the stand-up. This wasn't a totally dominant round from Carlos Prates. Ian Garry for sure won this fight 100%. No doubt about that. But Carlos Prates, man, you could have had him in the 5th round. Yeah, so the fighting nerds finally broke to Ian Garry. Oh my God, bro. Joaquin Buckley, JDM, if you can hear us, please save us. Please save us from this Ian Garry, Bilal Muhammad, Leon Edwards shit, bro. Apparently, the best thing to do is to shoot takedowns. Be a boring fighter. See, Carlos Prates is a good fighter. He actually fights. He actually knocks people out. Ian Garry shoots takedowns, does nothing with them. Always gets defended. Carlos Prates should have won this fight 100% in the last round from TKO, but he was stupid enough to let him up. I don't know why he did that. I guess he wants to get like a high real knockout like he did in his last few fights because he's a fighting nerd. But dude, a knockout is a knockout still. Just like TKO him on the ground. What are you doing? Also, what is with this? I'm so sick of this glove touching. Ian Garry is this fucking let's touch gloves. You defended my takedown. Let's hug first a bit. What are you doing, bro? Carlos Prates, I should not expect this from you. I expect this from Ian Garry, but not from you, man. Do not fucking touch gloves every time. Like, they touch gloves probably 5 times per round. In the 5th round, when the 5th round just started, they gave each other a hug, bro. Like, what are we doing? This is not like, just fight him. I'm so sick of this glove touching and hugging shit, bro. Just fight him. It's so annoying. But yeah, that's Ian Garry's game. Ian Garry always touches gloves. He's a fucking pussy. I fucking hate Ian Garry. Carlos Prates should have won that. Joaquin Buckley, if you can hear me, fucking knock out Ian Garry, dude. So, yeah, Ian Garry for sure won. Ian Garry's a good fighter. I'll give him his props. But, like, man, be exciting, man. Like, for Christ's sake, dude. All you do is just, like, jab. Oh, let's go for a takedown. Oh, got defended. But it doesn't matter because you're going to go for another takedown and he'll get defended again. Like, Ian Garry, like, Carlos Prates had really good takedown defense. I was really surprised by that. But you gotta start fucking teeing off on him, man. You had him hurt in the 5th round. You could have fucking killed him, but you didn't. So yeah, apparently Ian Garry's gonna be the backup for the championship next in a couple weeks. He's gonna be the backup for Bilal Muhammad and JDM. Are we serious? Are we seriously going to reward Ian Garry a title fight after this fight? Is this what we're doing? If it is, the UFC officially fell off. What I say you should do, Ian Garry versus Leon Edwards. That's like a perfect fight. They're both coming off around the same time. That's the fight to make. 100% to be honest. That's 100% the fight to make. So yeah. Overall, a pretty good card. Yeah, Randy Brown was an amazing fight. And then Giga Chikadze and Michelle Pereira's fights kind of sucked. But then Anthony Smith, I just had a good time with the Anthony Smith fight just for comedic purposes, man. It was so funny to watch. I was laughing so hard from Anthony Armadillo Smith. But yeah, it's a good card. Good fight night card. Next week we got, I think we have Corey Sandhagen versus Figueiredo. That's going to be a good card. And then Bo Nickel versus Rainer de Ritter. So yeah, nothing really else to say here. Good card. Carlos Prates, you could have won. Ian Garry, fucking... Oh my God, I fucking hate Ian Garry. Put Ian Garry against... I think Leon Edwards is the right thing to do. But you know what? Fuck it. Put him against Joaquin Buckley. Let Buckley fucking dominate him. Because Buckley wouldn't... He wouldn't tolerate this shit, man. He wouldn't touch gloves. He wouldn't fucking hug him. Buckley would fuck him up. Buckley would actually, like, push forward and then knock him out. So, yeah. That's pretty much it. Pretty good card. I was like 4 for 5 on predictions, I think, because I had Shikuga Chikaze winning. I had Ian Machado Garry winning. I got that right. I got Jing Ying right. I got that one wrong. I had Abdus Magomedov winning. And I had Randy Brown and Ikram Alaskar winning. So yeah. 5 for 6. Not bad on the predictions. Good card. Carlos Prates should have won. But it is what it is. Apparently, all you got to do, the best pace for MMA now, is just shoot takedowns. That's what you do. Don't be an exciting fighter anymore, apparently. You can be a Bilal Muhammad or a Leon Edwards or Ian Garry. Just don't be exciting, and you'll do good. Fucking hell, man. I'm sick of this shit. Anyway, that's it. See you later.